Now welcome to another Let's Talk Some Acolyte. This time it is the 5th episode, Night. And as usual, we will begin with Sailor Naboo's ever so brief review of this episode.
Welcome to the Gun Show, introducing and starring Darth Biceps.
What?
What? I wrote it down.
Why would you write that
Darth
down?
Biceps.
He doesn't have big arms. What are you talking about?
They were muscular. This is where I get to talk so you don't get to interrupt and criticize.
Okay.
I actually kind of loved Manny as the Sith. Quote, I put Sith in quotes.
Well, what did you think of the episode first? Did you like it, not like it? Somewhere in the gray.
I liked it more than other episodes of The Acolyte.
Okay, that is something I will agree with. It is probably the best episode so far, but not because
the whole
it is
thing was a giant fight.
Yes, because they didn't talk much, but when they did, But go on.
All right, can I get into some details now?
Please do.
Like I said, I loved Khmer, our Sith, in quotes. I thought that was going to be the show's big mystery box. Now I know it is not the big mystery box. I guess the mystery box is what did happen all those years ago? How do he and Soul know each other?
Dun, dun, dun.
But I have theories on that.
You do. I've already heard a little bit of it.
Yeah, because we need to know what happened all those years ago. One of the scenes from the trailers we still haven't seen is Wookiee Kelnaka is fighting with his saber. There's a fight scene on Brendok, looks like in the Witch's Temple area, and there's a bunch of Jedi running around swinging at each other.
Which
there's
is
a
weird,
scene of somebody in a Jedi-type robe with their head covered, climbing the stone walls. Could this be Khmer?
I think so.
Could this be Darth Bicep?
Can we just call him Darth Smiley like
Darth
everybody
Teeth.
else, or Darth Teeth, or
Teeth.
Smilo Ren?
Could Khmer have snuck in disguised as a Jedi and maybe started the Jedi versus witches action? Could he have manipulated Kelnaka into fighting his fellow Jedi? Or when the fighting broke out, did one of the witches take control of Torben again and use him as a meat shield and to fight against Kelnaka? I think there's definitely going to be some Jedi fighting action with the witches. I think that's the next flashback we're getting is the Jedi POV, the point of view of them, so we can see what happened. I think Khmer was definitely around. Remember, we've seen twice, we saw that Soul sensed his presence, both times in episode 4. He kind of just knew he was around. And then there was that scene that took place in the past where Mama Anasea and Mother Korra sensed something in the reactor room. It kind of had that same ominous music and stuff playing as when they sensed Darth Teeth. So I wonder, was
him.
he was there?
Yeah.
He might have already been scoping out the twins. Mama Anasea said they were special. Maybe he was planning on taking them.
I would hope they were special. They were created using special means.
I'm just saying. Maybe he was always attempting to take the twins, to gain both twins. And now he has another opportunity to do such.
Well, he did seem interested in both of them in this episode.
Yeah.
But he did seem like he flat out wanted to kill May most of the time. There were many attempts at her life that were...
But were they full attempts, or was it just...
Oh, they were full attempts.
Or was it just, I'm going to maybe hurt her a little bit? And...
No, he tried to stab her in the chest.
She
he
did
tried
say
to
she was going to
decapitate
betray him, and now he's got a second chance in Acolyte with her sister. So we'll see. I liked that lightsabers are being taken seriously in the show. I mean, how many shows are we like, oh, look, you got stabbed and get right back up? I mean, this time, Kelnaka got, grazed across the midsection, not even fully cut in half.
Well, not cut in half.
Wound is still smoking, he's dead.
Yeah, as it should be.
Jackie got super deaded.
That was the coolest death of the day.
Oh my gosh, it was
brutal.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Yours hurt me more, though.
I didn't really, either one didn't really do
I
much
yelled
for me.
to Tia.
You did, yeah. I was like, I guess some people are attached to Yord. I stand corrected after what I said in my review where nobody cares. Well, I mean,
I care.
I think people care, but I don't know if they care about for in-show reasons, or they just kind of they pick their characters and join the Yord horde and want to go to Twitter and this is my character.
Well, he's dead now.
Yeah.
So is Jackie. Good thing I got my parody song out before she died. I thought it was weird how many times they used oh no, my lightsaber, it's temporarily broken. I get it. He had his helmet and I guess some bracers or whatever were made of Corrotus. Is that what it's called?
Cortosis.
Cortosis. Yeah. Okay. I wish they would have explained that or just said a word about it rather than just they used it 3 times and they're shaking the lightsabers it doesn't work. Well, I know that it's technically from Legends, but it was also in the canon book A New Dawn. It was mentioned there as well. One thing I absolutely loved, and I usually don't care for their dialogue, I like how Yord described how Darth Teeth fights. He was all he's got no form. It's hard to predict, and
he gets in your head.
He gets in your head. And it reminds me that, that's what Sith should be. Sith, represent chaos and...
passion, yeah.
Yeah, they fight with their emotions and their passion, so why would they stick to traditional forms? They're fighting with, their emotions, their passions, the chaos that lives in them.
You know what's
their
funny?
Rage.
What I've always enjoyed about the Phantom Menace, or one of the things, is how there is this weird mutual respect between Maul and then Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, where they're like, I'm going to take off my robe, you're going to take off your robes, let's begin. I don't know why I've always enjoyed that there is just kind of this respect in a way between them, even though they obviously, Maul hates the Jedi, and the other two are like,
he
well,
probably
let's
looked at
do
this as my first test against the Jedi,
Yeah.
and he wanted to do it right.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always really liked that. So, though I'm not trying to dismiss your point, I agree that they're going to be full of passion and anger and rage, and it's hard to predict those
Well, it's
emotions.
still hard to predict whether he takes off his robes and shows respect. He was still a difficult fight, a difficult adversary because of those things.
Well, right now we have Duel of the Fates behind us. Our two cats have decided to
Fight over the cardboard box?
Yeah, the scratchy box. Yeah, they love that thing.
Cats are weird. Then there's I'm going to call it the Parent Trap first. With the twins swap places.
Yep.
Which they also did in this week's episode of House of the Dragon.
It's very similar, eerily similar.
I kind of hated how they used it in the Acolyte.
Yeah.
They used it fantastically in House of the Dragon.
Brilliant, yeah. Brilliant.
Even, they couldn't
no
tell them apart.
spoilers, yeah. But
it was great. In this, how can you hope to imitate a person you haven't even, known was alive for, 10 years or more?
Yeah, it's one thing in House of the Dragon, when no major spoilers, but these brothers knew each other
been, months
very well. Well, sure, but it's much easier to mimic somebody that you grew up with and have, been around your whole life, not someone you haven't seen in 16 years, I guess.
Yeah. And then how does Sol not know? Or does he know? They're very careful to make sure he didn't say either girl's name when he's like, who are you looking for? He's like, your sister. I'm like, okay, you didn't say the name. Is there a reason that you want to go with May and ditch Osha? I don't know.
He's avoiding that hard conversation with Osha about the truth.
It doesn't make sense because Sol was the first one to sense Khmer, and he was able to sense Osha when the Republic ship went down. Didn't he track her by feeling?
I think he did, didn't he?
Yeah, because she ran and she's ducking into caves, and he's like, this way. That was actually pretty decent. Yeah.
That was pretty good, actually. Yes.
How does he not know? Is he just they're going to argue that he's too distraught over what happened? He lost, Kelnaka, 3 red shirts, his Padawan, and our hero Yord?
Yeah.
So is he clouded by grief?
But does that hamper your ability to just sense, the person that you trained as a Padawan for years, and that you should just have this... There should just be this, warm familiarity about her, right?
Yeah. Anakin sensed when Ahsoka was flying past on a ship after she had left the Order.
There you go. Excellent point.
Yeah, and they were probably together for...
probably less than those two were, actually.
Maybe,
only 3 years for Anakin and Ahsoka, so...
Yeah.
Well,
saying.
Probably, because she only left the Order a few years. Yeah, they would have been... together for a pretty decent amount of time.
I'm going to be really mad if the only, reason he realizes it's May and not Osha is because of the arm tattoo that he had to point out earlier. Because that seems so, contrived.
No.
Well, and also, wouldn't May, when she took Osha's clothes off and left her in, a tank top, be like, oh, my sister's got a tattoo. I should definitely make sure I never take my clothes off in front of Sol. I should definitely make sure I keep that covered because I don't have that. Just I'm sure she's got to make sure she's keeping her hair covering her face tat.
Yeah, that's another problem. And do you really think a lightsaber... You know what's funny? We used to have this joke that I was going to write a book, 101 ways to use a lightsaber, and one of my ways was to cut hair. And then when they cut that hair, I was like, see? But anyway...
That would smell.
Well, sure, it would smell. It would be singed,
burned
too.
Hair smell.
But anyway, do you really think you could take a lightsaber and just... I know she's focused in on it, but do you think that would actually work? Where you're like, okay, I nailed it. Not that Sol is I think your hair used to be 2 inches longer or something. But you can't even sense her, so why is he going to notice her hair?
Oh, he's not going to notice because little Basil notices and that she's missing a tattoo, and that's so weird.
Yeah.
That was so weird because she should know better than to expose her arm because she should have seen this tattoo on her sister.
Yeah, she may have been in a hurry though.
She would notice.
Yeah.
Sol noticed. She's walk by and what's that? You don't think she'd notice?
Probably, yes. Especially if it's your body in this weird sort of way.
But I'm also wondering, will Darth Teeth keep Osha as a way to get May back? I feel like we definitely know that they're going to go back, and the last confrontation between Darth Teeth, Osha, May, and Master Soul is going to be on Brendok.
Yeah, we're all building up to it.
We're building up to it. They're all going back to where it all began.
Here's my guess. Next episode, we get things from the Jedi perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Following episode, we get things from Kamir's perspective.
That would be interesting. I'd be interested in seeing that.
Yeah, that's my guess.
We'll see.
Because he's gonna tell Osha what really happened. After we hear like Soul's version to May of what really happened, thinking he's confessing to Osha, which is going to be like, she's going to be like, well, that's not what I thought, and oh my goodness, it's not as bad as I initially thought, and I'm going to the light side now.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be your new Padawan.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
It's not bad. I also like kind of how the bugs played in. We decided to rip Pip's head off again and use him as a flashlight.
I don't like that Darth Teeth couldn't get the damn thing off his back.
Well, it's hard to rip something off your back when you're fighting Jedi and you're holding a lightsaber. There's a lot going on.
Yes, I don't know.
He took out the bugs. I mean, he still triumphed.
Like, he couldn't reach that? Like, I don't know. I'm...
Do you want me to stick something to your back later and we'll see how easy it is for you to reach it with one hand?
Yeah, I can easily. You've seen how flexible I am with my arms, and
When
I'm actually a very flexible person.
Well, maybe
like,
Darth's biceps isn't. Episode 4, I was really, annoyed by the fact that when the one bug showed up to attack, it flew directly at the lightsaber. I was like, why aren't you attacking the person? It flew directly at the lightsaber.
Because it's a moth to
I
a
forgive
flame.
it now. I'm stealing my analogies that I said to you earlier. Yeah, because this episode showed that they're attracted to light. So the fact that it flew directly at the lightsaber, I forgive that now.
Okay.
I forgive that. Because it made sense in this episode why it happened.
I never had a problem with it as much as I
had
a problem.
Cheesy.
Well, the problem I had with it was like, instead of just trying to see if the bug would just go away, it's like, I'm going to fire up my lightsaber. Because I assumed it was coming towards the light. And I'm like, well, why is Soul just trying to kill this thing? Maybe it's just going to fly away.
Because they don't know what's coming towards the light. They just think it's coming for them.
I guess. Yeah. Whatever. Idiots.
I don't like how the quote-unquote Sith stressed that he'd be a Jedi who would call him a Sith. But he's just a guy who wants to use his power how he wants.
I like you're using your emo voice for him.
Which would probably be for, selfish and evil things, which would call the Jedi down on you. Also, I think May... I don't like May. The more I see of May, the more I don't like May. I think she's really weirdly volatile.
She makes no sense.
I love you, Osha. We're going to live together again. I love you, Osha. I hate you!
May is the plot
device. Make up your mind.
May's feelings go or turn with what the plot needs them to be. Like, I need you to hate Osha now. Okay, I hate Osha now. I need you to love Osha now. Okay, I love Osha now.
Yeah. That's all the notes I wrote down.
I'm surprised you don't have more.
How long do you want this video to be?
I don't know. I think since I have to edit it in the morning, probably not long.
There you go.
In that case.
Biceps.
Jeez. So what overall...
You have to get a good picture of him, too, for this video.
I'm not going to. I'm going to get the worst picture I can
No,
for him.
You need a good Darth biceps picture when I say Darth biceps.
No, like he hasn't worked out in a day in his life.
You're horrible.
But anyway, so what are you thinking? We're 5 episodes in. Mm-hmm. Very briefly, I don't want to go too far. Well, I mean, your overall thoughts on this in 2 sentences or less.
I don't hate it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Like I said, I need to see how the mystery finishes to see if it backpedals well before I can make a final judgment, honestly.
Okay. That's fair.
I need to know how the mystery turns out, because if the mystery turns out to be really good and make things earlier in the series make a lot more sense to me, then I'm really happy with it.
That is going to be all we got for you this time. Now it is your turn. Take to the comments below. Tell us what you thought of this episode of The Acolyte, or what you think of it overall. Whatever the case may be, leave a comment below. Let's talk some Star Wars, and until next time, thanks for watching.